An estimated 10 to 15% couples are dealing with infertility issues in India. And if we talk about bigger numbers, then it's exactly 27.5 million couples dealing with infertility problems in India. And if we talk about the numbers precisely, it's 10 to 15% of couples who are unable to conceive while trying for conception for 1 year. And estimated 19% of couples are there who try for 2 years but unable to conceive. So these numbers are really scary. We often talk about fertility problems, we talk about stress issues, and we talk about numerous other concerns. But we really need to know more about the fertility problems, how to tackle them, and of course, we have to burst few myths also. And when you are trying for conception, you really need a good fertility specialist who can treat your concerns, who can value your time, your money, and of course your emotions. So, to have these fertility concerns talk, we have interesting podcast for you. Namaste everyone. I am Purnima Sood, founder Fertility Mantras, and this is our episode number 3 of Fertility Podcast. And today we'll talk about the concerns related to infertility problems. Whether you are trying for conceptions, you are taking various treatments, or you are just thinking about starting your family, or someone from your family, near and dear one, is dealing with these issues, then please do watch this podcast. This is for you because every story of infertility really needs to be heard. So, we have Dr. Radha Sudha with us. She has 16 years of experience in this field. She is infertility consultant at Medicover Fertility, Hyderabad. और आज इनसे हम बात करेंगे बहुत ऐसी चीज़ों की जो शायद हम और आप समझ ही नहीं पाते. When we talk about Google, we just Google things related to IVF, IUI, but we never talk about the underlying conditions concerned. So let's begin our podcast and welcome our guest on our platform. Namaste, doctor, and welcome to the platform of Fertility Mantras.
Namaste, Purnima ji. I'm very happy to be on your podcast. So, first of all, I should appreciate your work. So, you've been providing compassionate support to the couples trying to conceive, giving them positive hope through your fertility mantras. So, it really gives a positive impact on their journey. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor, for your kind words. So, doctor, I was just discussing about the numbers, or we can say the rates of infertility in India is on the rise. So, what could be the reasons? Like we all know that pollution, stress,
Yeah.
and we have this late marriages issues also. So, in terms of infertility specialist, what could be the reasons for this?
So globally, the incidence of fertility has been increasing. So according to WHO stats, it has been said that 1 in 6 couple are experiencing problems with infertility. So and precisely when we come to India, it is almost 10 to 12% of the couples, which accounts for almost 27 million couples, are being affected with these fertility issues. Definitely, yes, the incidence of fertility is increasing, and somehow we are finding more increasing trend in male fertility cases actually. So normally it has been said that from 1990 to 2019 there is an almost 80% increase in fertility issues with males, and recently in Bangalore they also found that almost there is a doubling of problems with semen analysis, which is almost 20 to 45% rise in the past 5 years. So when we have to look into the reasons why these fertility issues have been increasing recently, so the first most reason comes is a lifestyle factors, age. what they are planning pregnancy, and also the obesity is playing a major role today, like because of the lifestyle what they are in. Like most of them are sitting and doing jobs and all. Because of these, obesity is also creating much more problems. And when we have to we have to think about other reasons of infertility, the diet which we are eating is also adulterated. We don't know what we are really taking in. So maybe all these are the reasons which are making the rise in the number of infertility cases in the present era. So when we have to think about lifestyle as a reason for infertility, so the major part comes is diet. So the first most important thing we have to know is more about diet. So we have to cut down your diet. You have to cut down three major diet issues. Like one is stop having processed food, which is a major culprit in reducing your fertility chances. Stop having sugars and stop having red meat. All these three things may be the major causes of giving fertility issues in both males and females. So we would say that have healthy diet, have fresh fruits, vegetables, have healthy fats like nuts, seeds, and use healthy oils like olive oil, have whole grains. All these things may help to boost your fertility chances. So normally I say my patients like food is a fuel for fertility. I
Right.
w- I would say them that plate should be your first fertility prescription.
So, doctor, you were just mentioning about the diet, but it is, I think, very easy for us or for you to sitting on the other side of table and explaining the dietary things with patient. But do you think that your patients are really following the dietary thing after meeting with you?
See, yes, diet plays an important factor. I do insist them that you have to follow. It is your health which is going to be affected. See, it is not only the reproductive health what we are looking at. It is the general health what we are looking at. So diet has impact on various organs in your body. So regular diets can disturb your whole body. It is not only the reproduction. So when you maintain your diet, when you balance your diet, things come in place. See, your hormones get balanced, insulin sensitivity reduces, blood flow to the different organs increase with proper diet. Other thing is mentally you feel peace when you are doing diet, because it makes your oxidative stress less. It is like a natural antioxidant to say. So that is why I would insist on them to follow all these dietary guidelines. I would say them only one thing, that food is fuel for fertility. I would say them your first fertility prescription is your plate. So if you're following that, most of the things fall in place, and most of the women do naturally conceive when they make certain small changes. So yeah, me insisting them might not change 100% of people. Yes, it do make a difference in smaller proportions of people, but yeah, starting at that point, yeah, it is fine.
So, doctor, do you always suggest your patients to follow particular diet, and is there any specific requirements which differ from male and female?
Yeah. So I do not give much restrictions to the diet. I just say them not to have processed food, the main culprit. And the other things I would say no is red meat. And also I would say no to sugars. Apart from that, there will be a specific diet based on their own health, like thyroid. People suffering with thyroid who don't have the foods which can increase that and all, and specific diet for diabetes. And in males, mostly they need much of zinc, folate, and vitamins like vitamin C and vitamin E, which boost their fertility, which boost the sperm to increase the chances of pregnancy. So I would recommend them few foods which are rich in these items.
So, viewers, as we were discussing the dietary things, hopefully you also just checked it. So, eat healthy and stay healthy. It is a very important thing. But again, if you are trying for conception and you have some or the other infertility issues, then please do follow instructions from your doctor. Diet is really important. And doctor, if we discuss about other things like lifestyle management and all that, now all of us, especially after COVID, we are very particular about exercises, walk, yoga, gymming, and everything. So, what is your take on this part?
See, lifestyle factors have been affecting almost 50% of the infertility issues. So, yes, we should. If you ask me about other lifestyle factors, I would discuss more about, yes, exercising. Almost everyone should exercise at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes in a day. It can be a regular exercises, moderate exercises like walking, yoga, and also cycling. It might not be like over exercising. See, over exercising can also reduce the fertility chances by altering the hormones. But regular exercise of 35 to 40 minutes in a day can improve your chances of pregnancy by balancing hormones, by decreasing insulin resistivity, and also by increasing blood flow to different reproductive organs. So, I definitely suggest my patients to do regular walk for at least 30 to 45 minutes in a day, but not to overdo it. In males also, overdoing of these exercises can alter testosterone levels and may be a factor for infertility. So it should be done, but it should not be overdone. That is what I say to my patients. When we come to other lifestyle factors, apart from exercise, other thing is sleep and stress management.
Right. So, viewers, diet is important, exercise is also important, and as doctor just mentioned that please don't overdo anything. और वो हमारे उसमें बोलते हैं अति हर चीज़ की बुरी है. नेक्स्ट इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द थिंग्स आर रिलेटेड टू स्ट्रेस in today's lifestyle, we have just stress spreading all over us. In the morning, we just wake up and see, oh my god, the stress is too high because my office work is pending. Oh god, stress is there because the cab person has cancelled my cab. Again, stress because it is raining heavily. Again, stress because maid has not come and we have no chance to get a good breakfast. So, doctor, what about your take on stress? Like, you might be having more working couples in your consultation nowadays. So, how you just make them understand the meaning of this stress and how it is impacting their fertility equation?
So actually, yeah, as you said, stress is at each and every level. Even a kid going to school starts the morning saying that he's stressed out. So even from that age, stress is being a part of our life. So we have to understand what all it is doing within our body. So this chronic stress and disturbed sleep patterns, they they have very much to do with the fertility. There should be at least sleep of 8 to 9 hours in a day. If there is an improper sleep, it has effect on the hormones. It causes hormonal imbalance. It also alters the testosterone levels in males and reduces the sperm count and sperm quality, and also the egg quality in females will be reduced because of these hormonal imbalances. And when we come to chronic stress, it also has effect on the hormones in both males and females. It lowers testosterone levels and has an impact on fertility. So I would say my couples that when you are planning pregnancy, your priority should be this. You should make yourself you should prepare yourself so that you have a healthy lifestyle, healthy diet, and at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep in a day. And I don't know, everyone say that they can't reduce their stress. It comes out. So I say them, why are you stressed out? I'm first stressed out because of job. I'm then stressed out because I'm not conceiving now. So there is no stop for that stress. So they ask me like, how do I, how do, how do I live without stress? I don't know. So then I suggest them that just keep your mind calm. Keeping your mind calm for some time itself reduces the stress. So I would suggest some therapies, like I would suggest the meditation. It's a good therapy for reducing stress, and also I would suggest them some supporting groups which can help them in reducing their stress. So which really has an impact over fertility. I don't say all these changes can 100% guarantee pregnancy, but definitely they can increase the chances of pregnancy when they're following all these things.
Right. I think couples should try to reduce their so-called stress together. This is very important.
Yes.
As so, doctor, have you just seen the changes in the patient visiting you? Like earlier, when we just encounter the things, we got to know that only female is visiting the fertility clinic with in-laws or some female family member. But nowadays, are you also checking on these changes that male and female as a couple they are visiting you and they are taking instructions or consultation? So is the change viable in your consultation also?
See, yes, there is a change in this pattern. See, previously we used to get only females. So previously they used to think that only females are related to fertility issues. Males are fertile every time. This is what a misconception every time everyone used to have. So when we looked at the incidence of infertility, so we have found out that 50% causes of infertility are in females. 50% means equal contribution is again from the males. So both contribute to the problem of infertility. So then we started emphasizing that when you are visiting a hospital, it's not the female who has to be examined. It should be we should examine you as a couple. We should talk to you as a couple. We should make understand what is fertility as a couple. Then only things fall in place. So now, yes, almost there is a change of up to, maybe I can say, somewhere around 50 to 60%. And most of these working couples, they visit as a pair. They come, wife and husband come, talk to us, discuss with us regarding so many issues. That makes us very happy. Yes, they both as a couple are trying to understand about fertility. Then that is the perfect thing what has to be done when they are looking at fertility. And again, another 20-30%, yes, they do come, they think that females are the only reason for fertility. Then we try to educate them, we try to say them it can be from anywhere, it can be from males or it can be from females. So it has to be evaluated as a couple. Yes, definitely we found a change, but still it has to be improved, which we are trying to do in the due course of time.
Right. So, doctor, if we talk about the early investigations, so what early test or what early investigations you suggest to your patients when they visit you for the first time as a couple? Some specific important test we really want you to tell our viewers.
Yeah. So when a couple visits us, the first thing we do is we take their proper history. So when we are talking to them about the history, we can assess that where is the problem up to some extent. So the first level thing what we do is we take a proper history with them, and then the basic thing in females we do is ultrasound of the uterus and ovaries. So in these ultrasound we assess the uterus and ovaries, which are the major reproductive organs in females. We look at the ovaries size, we look at the follicles which are present in the ovaries, and also in the uterus. We look at the uterus. Uterus is a place where exactly the baby grows. So we look at the cavity of the uterus. We look for some certain other things like fibroids, polyps, septum, and other etiologies within the uterus. So when we are looking at the ovaries, we will get to know the reserve, means the egg reserve, the amount of eggs which they have. This is assessed by scan by counting their antral follicle count, and also the other quantitative test which can help us in assessing the ovarian reserve is AMH. So based on their ovarian reserve, what we see in the scan, we ask them to get their AMH, which is a blood test. So this comes to the female part. When we are looking at a male part, we just do the basic test called semen analysis, where we get to know sperm count, the motility of the sperms, and morphology, means the normally looking sperm percentage in that. So that gives us a basic evaluation from the male side. So these are the basic tests what we ask the couple when they visit us for the first time.
And doctor, all these tests which you just mentioned here, are they available in the clinic itself, or they need to visit somewhere else for that?
All these tests are available in the clinic itself, and they can be done at the first visit. They are almost done within half an hour to 45 minutes. So yes, all are available at the clinic itself, and there doesn't take much time to get it done.
Right. So, viewers, if you are residing in Hyderabad or nearby areas, please do visit Medicover Fertility to get yourself assessed, to take a help of fertility specialist, because it is really very important. As a fertility center, all the tests are available at one place. So you don't have to run here and there to do the scan, semen analysis at some other place, your blood test at other place. No, you can visit the Medicover Fertility Center once and done with all the tests. And doctor, it's really very good facility, because obviously we never want to run here and there for a test and
Yes.
diagnosis.
Yeah.
So, doctor, when we talk about the fertility test, assessments, and everything, how age matters? Because you just mentioned that you have working couples coming to you for a consultation, like maximum working couples are facing with these issues. So, how age is impacting? Again, the age impact on male and female. We know that males are like कुछ नहीं होगा मुझे. So, in your own words, we really want to know the impact of age on males and females.
Definitely, there is an impact of age on both male and female fertility issues. So, first, let's discuss about female fertility with age. So, for that, I would just like to give a small description. I'll show this. So, normally, when we look at these chart, we know that there are almost millions of eggs when we are born. But when we reach puberty, they decline to almost 3 to 5 lakhs. And by the age when we reach around 30 years, almost 12% of our egg reserve is present and the rest of the reserve is lost. So, normally the best age to get pregnant is between 22 to 30 years of age, where the reserve of egg is very good. Reserve doesn't mean only in numbers, it also means in the quality of the egg. So, this is the optimal age when the quality of the egg and along with the quantity of the egg is good, and this is the best time to plan pregnancy. So, you can find that after 30 years, there is a decline in the number of eggs by and around 37 years. It is almost we are left with only 25,000 eggs. So, when this number of eggs are reducing, we are not counting only in terms of quantity, we are also counting in terms of quality of the eggs, which has reduced. And also, as the age increases, genetic abnormalities pinch in. The chances of babies born with genetic abnormalities do increase. So, it has been said that better age to get pregnant is between 20 to 30 years. 30 to 35 years, you can plan pregnancy, but yeah, it should be very properly planned pregnancy. And after 35 years, the chances do come down and the chances of miscarriage and genetic abnormalities do increase. And by after 45 years, there is only 2% chance of conceiving naturally, and even with IVF, the chances reduce. So, what is happening in the present era is women are marrying at the age of 30.
Right.
So, soon after their marriage, they wanted to have a break of 1 2 years and then plan pregnancy. So what is happening, our fertility window is declining. They're at the stage of the declining of their fertility. then when they plan, fertility issues do pinch in. And somehow we have noticed this, the age of menopause have been shifted to around 46 years, 47 years in Indian women. When we compare to the Western countries, Indian women are having 5 6 years ahead of menopause. So they are around 46 years. So what happens is this reproductive span has reduced in Indian women.
Right.
So definitely what I say to my patients is if you want to plan pregnancy, better you plan before 30 years.
I think which is quite not possible nowadays.
Yeah, so if you want to postpone your pregnancy, what you do is you just come for a checkup, know your fertility status, and based on the things you think about egg freezing.
Right.
So egg freezing is like a pausing your biological clock. When we freeze our eggs, that is like we have deposited and secured our fertility.
Right.
And so this is what I say to my patients, plan before 30, and if it is not happening, I would discuss them with them regarding all the other plans of oocyte freezing and all. And as you said, men feel that they are fertile all through the life. But yes, quality of the sperm and also the sperm count reduces with age. And we have found that there is the conception rates are 25% less at the age of 50 years when we compare the men at the age of 30 years. So yes, definitely in men also there is an impact of age, and the fertility possibility and the conception possibilities do reduce with age. So we do tell them that before 35, 40, it's a best time to plan pregnancy even in males. You're not fertile all through your age is what we definitely has to tell them.
Right. I think after just watching this episode, or we can say that this special clipping about age and fertility for both men and women, you can understand that doctor has rightly said even men do not stay fertile all along their life. So, doctor, you have immense experience in this field. I can say that more than 16 years of experience. So, what is your take on a very common problem in India, that is endometriosis? We know that females used to have this painful periods, and at the very early stage of our periods, we don't see it as a bad thing. It's just that a normal that we are having pain during periods. It's a fine thing. We have to bear this pain. But as slowly we reached our fertility stage, at the age when we start planning this, endometriosis becomes the real culprit. So, when you have cases related to endometriosis, what is your take?
So we used to ignore things. We used to ignore painful periods. We used to think it's just a bad period. But yes, the bad period itself is associated with so many fertility issues. So when we understood that yes, this bad period is again because of endometriosis, we thought to bring this problem at the level of the students itself who have been suffering with such sort of endometriosis and all. So we thought to empower them regarding this. And yes, now in the present era, the incidence of endometriosis is again increased. When we look into the factors, we really don't know why it has been increased, but there is a really increased incidence of endometriosis. We do get students studying saying that they have their painful periods and all. When we have such women, when we have such people coming to us, we do educate them about the endometriosis. We do say them that these are the possibilities which you may have in future. So plan family as early as possible. Get married at a correct age, plan pregnancy as early as possible. Some take it, but some think that it is too much for them to think also. But yes, it is our duty to explain them because they should understand what is this and how it is going to affect their fertility. And when a couple with endometriosis reach us, we educate them what is endometriosis, how it is going to impact fertility, and we really look at the grades of endometriosis and discuss with them what is the impact of these endometriosis on fertility and suggest them proper treatment plan. We individualize the treatment plan based on their stage of endometriosis. Some might require basic laparoscopy. They conceive even after laparoscopy and endometrial ablation. Some might require IUI procedures, and very severe grade endometriosis, yeah, they might require IVF procedures to conceive. And not only pregnancies, pain is a major factor in endometriosis. So we do put them on certain medical therapies for endometriosis and give other options for pain therapy for these women and support them in all the ways. Yes, it is very difficult to treat endometriotic patients, but touchwood, we had very good experience with the endometriosis patient. We could almost 90% give pregnancies to all the endometriosis patient who approached us with fertility issues.
So, viewers, as just doctor mentioned, that it is really important to know more about endometriosis at early stage. That's why we are here for this awareness programs. So, doctor, as you mentioned that we should aware our generation in the earlier stage so that they just not have these infertility issues. And I think it's the best thing as a doctor and as a community supporter we can do.
Yes.
So I would say that thank you so much for addressing this endometriosis because we have many queries related to this. So next, we can ask you about the other factors. Usually, there's a myth, or we can say that people says if I am entering fertility clinic, I'm bound to have IVF, whatever condition may be. So, how you treat, like you start with diagnosis, then you suggest then some supplements, some medications, then obviously ovulation tracking part comes, and then IUI and then IVF. So, how you proceed further with whole the treatment?
As you said, it's a myth. Yes, definitely it's a myth that most of them are afraid to come to fertility centers thinking that doctors might start their IVF. So it's not all the time IVF. There are so many factors associated with fertility. So the treatment what to be decided depends on their age of marriage and their own age, their ovarian reserve, semen pattern, and all. If an young woman comes with irregular cycles, then we assess that it is a problem with ovulation. They're not properly ovulating. That is why they are unable to conceive naturally. Then we just support them through either ovulation induction or through natural tracking. And when all these natural tracking things fail for almost 4 to 5 months or 6 months, or there are other factors like mild male factors, like mild problems with the semen motility or sperm count or any other things, or there are some other issues like grade 1 or grade 2 endometriosis. And some people will have erectile and ejaculatory dysfunction problems in the males. In such situations, we suggest them the next plan of action would be IUI. When all things fail, IUIs fail, natural cycles failed, and the age of the woman is more than 30-35, their AMH is less, and when naturally tried and it did not work out, when there are major problems with semen analysis where the sperm count is very less, and when the tubes are blocked, when bilateral fallopian tubes are blocked, then the possibility of pregnancy through natural or through IUI reduces. Then these are the situations where we suggest IVF to the couple. So it's not like every time IVF. We first assess them, diagnosis will be done, proper plan will be made based on the situation. It's not like IVF every time. Almost 20 to 35% of the couples conceive with ovulation induction when they come for treatment, and another 20-30% with IUI. Only the rest of the couple, when other things are not working out, then we suggest them IVF. So, this will be the plan of action what we look into. Definitely, it's not IVF every time when any couple walks in. So, yes, as you, it's a very good question because most of the couples are afraid to come to the fertility center. They do go for regular checkups with a normal doctors, not at the fertility centers. And what happens is when they come to us, it's already late.
Right.
We have seen that ovarian reserve is reduced a lot. So at that time, even the success with advanced treatments might be less. So I would suggest please come to the fertility center if you have a fertility issue just to discuss first.
Right.
Then treatment plan, it's your decision. But please come and discuss with the fertility specialist because they are specialized in that. They can give you a proper advice.
So, viewers, that is the only reason why we are having podcast with such known, experienced doctors. It's not always that you are visiting fertility clinic and the doctor will straight away guide you towards IVF. We prefer you to visit the doctors verified by our platform. Just check with them, have a conversation with them, let them diagnose your issues, your fertility equations, and then decide. So, doctor, we have very common question when people tell us that, ma'am, doctor suggested my friend for IUI, but for me, she said straight away you go for IVF. So, what are the important factors where you just tell them that yes, please, IVF is the only way for you. Don't waste your time with the induction process or IUI. What important medical factors you look into that guide them directly towards IVF?
So, when we have to suggest IVF to a couple, the factors what we look at are mostly the age. So, if the age is more than 35 years and also they have tried naturally and they could not conceive for almost 6 months at that time, that is the age where we suggest, that is a time where we suggest IVF to such couples. And when their AMH, it means the egg reserve within their body is less than 1.2 at that particular age, yes, we directly suggest IVF at that point. And the other thing is they have tried naturally. Their ovulation is proper, their endometrial lining is proper and their tubes are open and they have tried either naturally for almost 5 to 6 months and also IUIs for 5 to 6 times and they did not succeed in all these treatments, then there is some issues with the fertilization and implantation of the embryo. So that is where we call it as an unexplained infertility and we do suggest IVF at that point. And other thing is, yeah, directly blocked tubes, both fallopian tubes blocked, natural pregnancies or IUI pregnancies are difficult. There we suggest direct IVF. And when we come to endometriosis, when there is stage 3 and stage 4 endometriosis, there the anatomy of the uterus and ovaries alters, and along with that, quality of the oocyte is also a problem. So, in that situations also, we suggest IVF. When we come to males, when there is severe reduction in the sperm count, when the sperm count is less than 1 million, pregnancies with natural, yeah, IUI is not possible. That is where we suggest IVF. We do first treat the males with some medicines and all. If that doesn't work out, even doing all these things, the sperm count remains on the lower side, yes, we suggest IVF. And in some men, there is a term called azoospermia, where there is no sperm is found in the semen analysis. In that situations, sometimes sperms are produced inside, but they might not come out. In that situations, we do a procedure called TISA, where we directly take sperms from the testes, do IVF, and use these sperms for pregnancy. So these are the main situations where we suggest direct IVF. So it differs from couple to couple. So we should never compare with anyone. Your body is different, the other woman's body is different, your requirements are different, others requirements are different. So based on your requirements we have to make a personalized and tailored plan to you. It's not like one size
One
fits
plan.
for all, doesn't fit in
Right.
fertility.
Right.
It should be a personalized and tailored treatment based on their requirements.
Right. So, viewers, if you are planning to visit Dr. Radha Sudha and you are in or around Hyderabad, so make sure you visit them, because as she just mentioned that each and every treatment is tailor made. So, doctor, here's one very important point. As you mentioned that if you are having some male infertility issues, then the TESA or some other treatments are really important. So, all these treatments are available right here in the clinic.
Yes, all these treatments are available in the clinic itself. So we have advanced lab with the advanced technology. We have a team of embryologists, team of andrologists who even does our own TESAs, and we have a good OT theater where we do our own OAM pickups and all our advanced technologies we have at Medicover Fertility. So they are done under one roof.
So, doctor, one last question from my side is, what about the donor cycles? Have you experiences or are you seeing the increase in number of donor cycles, whether it is for egg donor or sperm donor?
There is an increase in the usage of donor cycles nowadays. Again, when we have to discuss this, we have to again come back to the age what we have discussed previously.
Right.
The major reason is 35 years and above, there is a compromise in the egg number along with the quality. And by 40 years, the chances reduce to 3 to 5% with their own egg. So when you're planning pregnancy at around 38, 40 years, definitely there is a compromise with number and egg quality. The chances of pregnancy with self gamete reduces.
Right.
And sometimes we are seeing that at 38 years, most of the people are reaching nearing menopause. Their AMH is very less. It is less than 0.01, where we could not see follicles to induce them. At such situations, yes, and there is an increasing trend in such situations nowadays, maybe again because that reproductive span is compressed.
Right.
So that is why, yes, donor cycles are increasing. That is why we are encouraging women to go for egg freezing at the age of 30 to 35 if they are not planning their pregnancy right now.
Right.
Because we can reduce the chances of donor egg. See, once people, when we say them that you have to plan donor gametes, there is a guilt in them.
I know. I know. And I think it's very difficult for you also to make them understand such situations.
Yes, it is very difficult for us to make them understand because they feel that it is not their biological one.
Right. Right.
Then I have to say them that the love, commitment, and parenthood is not only for the biological one. This baby is yours.
Right.
So have to explain them at that level, convince them, and see this donor gamete program. It is an extension of science.
Right.
It helps the couples to bring out their dreams who think when they come to know that there is no chance of parenthood with their own gametes, they feel guilt, they feel depressed. But when we slowly explain this option of donor gametes, then they get the hope, yes, there is a chance of parenthood, might not be a biological one, but yes, there is a chance of parenthood. So they do accept, and we do also support them with the support groups which counsel third party reproduction. And yeah, but the situation with the semen donors is still continuing on the same trend. There is not much increase in that, and I'm hoping that in future counseling these women for egg freezing can reduce the incidence of usage of these donor gametes in at least females.
Right. So, doctor, do you have in-house counselors for such cases?
Yeah, we do have in-house counselors who counsel women during their fertility journey and also during their donor gamete programs.
Right.
And we do have genetic counseling, which is sometimes required for the fertility couples. All are there in-house under one roof.
And doctor, when we talk about egg freezing, so are you just seeing the trend increasing, or it's just at the saturation point only?
So we are able to convince the educated women regarding these egg freezing and all. Yeah, we do notice that there is an increasing trend now with egg freezing, definitely, but still we need much more improvement in this in order to, yeah, in order to completely avoid donor gamete usage. Yes, we need to educate them much more.
And viewers, if you are really looking for a good experienced doctor, Dr. Raga Sudha, and she is an experienced doctor with more than 16 years of experience. She has seen many difficult cases in all this fertility years. She has treated many couples. She has bring joy to many couples, and yes, she is there to guide you properly, and never again think that if you are entering medical fertility, then they'll just push you towards IVF. No, they'll first do your test, then diagnosis, then supplements, then maybe induction, then IUI and IVF, depending upon your reports and everything. So, in the last, I would just thank you, Dr. Radha Sudha, for this wonderful session. It was well explained, and I think viewers will get a full, complete insight that what actually is fertility center. And when you have such good fertility experts, then you obviously expect a good result. And motherhood is really on the way with the help of doctors like you. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Purnima ji. Thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you.